to only spend $35 per month during Pantry Challenge. It was a huge success. We're back over here. Hi Milo. Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Carrie and this is Keep It Simple DIY. I want to talk to you about how the Pantry Challenge went. I set out to do a Pantry Challenge in September and October. Now a little bit of background is Milo would like to join us. Hi baby. A little bit of background into this is I've been doing a Pantry Challenge for, gosh, probably a decade at this point. And I used to do this in a way where I didn't know it was a pantry challenge because it was kind of before the trend started. So I would just try to use down everything in my house. Actually, at that point, it was everything in my house. It was before I liked to keep a stocked house. But that way, I knew I was using those things that I typically wouldn't use. I wanted to make sure I wasn't wasting and that everything in my pantry got used. So it's evolved over the years, and little by little, I've liked to have a little bit more in my house, specifically in the transition from I'm feeding just me to I'm feeding more than just me. And so I really strive to not keep food that we're not using and keep food that we are using. This Pantry Challenge was a little bit different than previous years because I was going through some ear problems at the same time, and so that really did a lot to affect my stability, my balance, my mood, my ability to think. And so I noticed a huge difference in just the way that I worked this in September and October. So I want to talk about both months separately because they are vastly different. So in this video, we will talk about September and the official Shelftember, and then I'm going to post a different video talking all about October. So September, let me tell you, it was a huge success. I didn't look at September like I normally do. I didn't have time to really look and plan out and all the things. I just did a quick, what do I need to use? And then I used it. That was about all the thought process I put into it because that's all the bandwidth I had. But it still went really well. So I set out to use quite a few things. So let me show you kind of what our pantry is looking like, and I'll explain a few of the things that I used. And then a little later we'll go into if I spent any money, how much, did I stick to budget? Just a reminder, my plan was to only spend $35 per month during Pantry Challenge because $35 is the amount to get free shipping. So let's take a look. Okay, we'll take a look up here first. This is my overflow. I wanted to use the mangoes that were up here, and you'll see the mangoes are not here. I made a barbecue mango sauce, or a mango barbecue sauce, and I will link that video down below for you. Up on this section, you'll see a few things are missing. That's just because I'm using them. Now, I don't like to use this area down much. I like to just keep restocking it, but there are a few things like the peppers that I kind of wanted to use that I didn't. But otherwise, this section is just, let's keep it stocked. Now, if we take a look at the pantry, we are definitely running low, especially on chicken here. I think I might have some extra chicken up there that I can bring down, but here's the canning pantry, and there's a few canned items that I wanted to use up. One of which is balsamic onion jam, and I didn't use both, but I did use one. I made a sourdough onion jam bread. It was fantastic, putting it with grilled cheese, and that was great. Now I'm stocking cats, but I also wanted to use these sweet potatoes, and I just have not found a recipe with sweet potatoes in it yet that I wanted to make. Hi, Milo. You'll notice a few different things on the shelf that weren't here before. I canned some zucchini pineapple, which is fantastic. Well, I mean, I don't know if it's fantastic. It's fantastic that I have something on my shelf. I haven't actually tried that yet. And then I also canned a few green beans, and what else did I can? Oh, I canned potatoes. So at the top, there's the extra potatoes and green beans that I canned. What I had hoped to tell you is that I had also canned carrots, but these carrots are still in here, and it's on my list for, every day it's on my list. We'll see when we get to it. While we're in here, and I'll jump back over to the pantry, but while we're in the fridge, I did want to use up the old onions that were sprouting. I did that. These potatoes are the new potatoes from the garden, so I did use all of last year's potatoes, and I canned them so we didn't waste them. I had a cheese sauce in the fridge that I wanted to use. So my fridge is pretty bare, and this is typically how it is. I wanted to use a cheese sauce. I did use that, but I did not get around to using this curry salsa. So we got halfway there. We're back over here. Hi, Milo. And so in this section, I did do quite a bit of using the cereal, but I didn't use the cream of rice, which is something that I wanted to use. I did use quite a few oats. What did I make with oats? I made, I don't remember what I made with oats. If I remember, I'll link it down below for you. I didn't really do anything with that shelf, but this shelf here, there isn't any more like snacky, junky foods. I did use some of these like little rice packets. And then this is pepperoni because I want to make pizzas again. And then on this shelf, we typically don't stock cats, but today we are. And this is where I have all of my like ingredients for cooking, like extra sauce. This is where I had my what do you call that? Mac and cheese, my gluten-free mac and cheese. I wanted to use that up, and I wanted to use up some tomato sauce that I had, or tomato soup, not sauce, and I did. The tomato soup is no longer in there, so that's fantastic. Hi, Milo. You want to be the center of attention? And then down here, we're looking similar, but I'm using things up. This is interesting. So let me talk for a second about the cream of soups. Cream of soups are very easy. Milo, are very easy to make on your own. There is no need to buy a cream of soup unless you want the convenience, which is great. You know, everyone loves a good convenience. So I used to only make it on my own, and I used to not keep any store-bought. If you guys are shaking, I'm sorry. I was petting that cat. I didn't used to buy any store-bought cream of soups, but then I had to go gluten-free, and it was easier to buy them. So you'll see the very front is gluten-free, tomato soup, that's gluten-free, and then we're not gluten-free anymore back there because I'm using FIFO, first in, first out. And so I kept buying because I just got used to it. So what I want to do is not restock that and potentially start doing it by scratch again like I used to. Here we go. Now you can get a peek at this shelf. I still have a little bit. Oh, I did use a curry paste in my curry soup that I did in the freezer meals video. So I'll link that down below. I definitely have, just a few things left. A lot of times I'll stock up on quite a few of just different sauces and stuff for convenience meals. But overall, we did pretty well here. Okay, let's take a look here. I didn't restock this, but I did get, my mom gave me these little candies. So more candies in here. I'm eating down on those. Those are starting to get hard. I bought a big, like, Costco size box on Amazon, and it's just me that eats them. Oh, watch your toesy woesies. Whoa. What? Oh, you want this one? Let's do this one. This isn't yours. Okay. This is kind of a mess, but this is where I keep the noodles of all kinds. My husband went to see his family, and they gave him a whole thing of honey, so I need to figure out how to get the honey out of there and packaged up in a way that we can use it. And then down here, I am happy to say that I did get a little bit of the coconut flour used. I made some protein bars. I called the video a big fail because it looked like a fail, but I gotta say, they didn't taste terrible, and they stuck together a little bit better over the next few days. So it might not be a huge fail, but it was definitely a meh fail. And then this is why the cat was so excited. This is his drawer or cabinet, and cats still have plenty of food. I mean, it's dwindling down a little bit, but they're good. He loves it. All right, in this section, I wanted to make tamales. I haven't gotten around to that yet. Hopefully soon we will. I have a little bit of Jell-O and such and pumpkin, and I mean, it is now pumpkin season, so hopefully we will be making something with pumpkin. I'm bummed, you guys. I planted pie pumpkins in the yard, and it didn't grow more than like 6 inches, so I did something wrong. Don't know what it is. I've had very good luck with big pumpkins, but I haven't had good luck with the pie pumpkin, so maybe next year we will get pumpkin to can on our own. This was a section I wanted to work down a little bit. I had just a few soups in here. I ate 2 of them throughout the month, which, is more than none. So we are wearing that down. I would like to wear this down completely and then get new, just because these are a little bit older, and also now I think I'm kind of in the mood for I will eat soup if I'm not feeling well, or if I just want something cozy and not necessarily this is my meal after I get home and I'm like pooped. We did do some damage down here. This syrup is almost out. Down here we've got, what was here? Chocolate chips. I don't have any chocolate chips aside from what's in this chocolate chip container right there. So I need to restock my chocolate chips. I need to check to see with corn syrup and molasses if I have enough to get me through the holidays. And then down here I did use some chia seeds. I used 2 tablespoons. That chia seeds, I think that's like a lifetime supply bag of chia seeds. And then I have a few nuts and coconuts for baking, so it's about baking season. Forgot to mention, I remember what else was here. It was a big jar of peanut butter. I also had natural peanut butter in here, so I did use both the natural peanut butter and the regular peanut butter, and I'm pretty sure I still have 1 peanut butter left. All right, let's talk this cabinet. I didn't talk much about this cabinet in the first tour. I just said this is where I keep like coffee supplies, tea supplies, and such. And this is where I actually had to spend money. I didn't realize, but I let us get down to the very last creamer. I had forgotten to stock that one item up just because it's in this cabinet over here, so I forgot to look for it. And we were down to like just a little bit, and only my husband uses the creamer, but like I'm not gonna let him go without just because I'm in a pantry challenge. So money that I spent, I did spend $35 because that's how much you need in order to deliver. And I bought 3 creamers, and then I also bought a big bag of basmati rice because the creamers were cheapest at Walmart, and so I just did Walmart shipping. Wait. And then I've also had basmati rice in my cart at Walmart waiting for like when I have an order that I can buy it. It's like not pressing, but it was something that just whenever I do. And so it's not often that I buy from Walmart and it's shipping. And so I was able to get that as well, which I will show you over there. All right, let's take a look back over here at the fridge and freezer. In the fridge, I also did use up some Italian dressing. I had forgotten to mention that. Now you'll notice this is not the same fridge that I did the original pantry tour in. There's a different fridge. I have a video on it. I'm pretty sure at this point, this is the fridge we are keeping. So that's what we're going with. And so let me give you just a quick tour, a very quick of what things are. We've got baking supplies, breads, ice creams, veggies, meats, freezer breakfasts. Well, actually no, that's freezer junk food, freezer breakfast, and then these are freezer meals that are single serve. So I do have a freezer meal single serve video. Isn't this funny how this one isn't even stacked? Does that bother any of you? It doesn't bother me. So in here I've eaten down all of the breakfast pizzas. I've eaten down pretty much everything that was in here. So I'm in the process of needing to stock back up. So I'm glad I was able to get some freezer meals in. Some of these are from outside. So like this one is a freezer meal that was in the garage freezer, and those 2 up top were. Otherwise, everything in here is new. And then this is our last family-sized freezer meal, which for us, we're a family of 2, so that is the correct size for our family to have a freezer meal. The meat I brought up from downstairs. So it looks like we have more in here than we did. But realistically, I just brought that upstairs, so it's not more. This is my drop station, and here's where I put that big bag of basmati rice. I like to keep basmati and jasmine. Then I also like to keep a few different kinds of dried beans. I only use dried beans, and then I can them myself. This section is actually starting to get a little bit low. It is my flour and sugar, and then powdered sugar up there. And I usually like to keep 2 full rows, and sugar I only have 1 full row plus 2, and flour I only have 1 full row. I will say one of these flours is on my counter right now because I'm going to refill, actually one of the sugars too. Both of my containers need to be refilled. Okay, in here, I should say I did use the relish and the rest of the mayo that was in the fridge, so that was cool. Did I use the rest of the big mayo or just the little mayo? I don't remember. This section hasn't really changed too much. I did use quite a bit of soy sauce though because I made a teriyaki sauce, so that's cool. Since if you've been here a minute, you know I bought way too many soy sauce and Worcestershire sauces, and then I shared some with my parents. That helped me get to not have a bajillion, but like 4 Worcestershires is still a ton. And then over here, I do have 1 more peanut butter, and I still have I didn't make the meatballs, you guys, so maybe I'll make that. Can you make that in the winter? Like those barbecue what is it, chili sauce and grape meatballs in the crock pot. Is that a winter thing too, or is that just a summer thing? I don't know. Let's go take a look at the freezer. Okay, here's our freezer. It looks a lot different, doesn't it? So okay, this video is filmed a little bit after September, so ignore that there's strawberries in here. Those were not here, but I do have some bread left. This is where I keep my brown sugar. And then these are all tomatoes from the garden. So I am working on getting these tomatoes, well, in the freezer, I guess. I still have some that aren't red yet. And then once I have them, I will make some tomato sauce. I have a ton of tortillas, which is fantastic. I just need to get like eggs to make breakfast burritos. And then we've got a little bit of hamburgers, nothing really on this side. Everything else that was in here was used. All right, so that's what we have for food upstairs. I'm not going to bring you downstairs to look at those two freezers because it's been a minute since Shelftember and they are not an accurate representation of what they looked like post Shelftember. And I do have videos of those freezers coming up in my How I Purchased a Year's Worth of Chicken for $145 video. That video will be coming out in the next few weeks. Definitely take a look at that if you want to see what is in my freezers downstairs. So overall, Shelftember Pantry Challenge was a huge success. I definitely met my goal of only spending $35 throughout the month. I also met my goal of using down some items throughout the house. I didn't use everything that I wanted to, but I never do in just 1 month's period because that's such a short amount of time. And we just don't eat that much food being just 2 people. I got a bunch of single serve freezer meals made because that was able to use up some of those items that I still had to use up, and that helped fill my freezer. And I also canned quite a few things. So we did really well not going to the grocery store, still putting food up on the shelves and in the freezer, and sticking within budget. So that was great. If you remember, I've done a kitchen project and I'm using that money that I'm saving towards the kitchen project. I do have a full kitchen tour video and a video of the sideboard that I made and stocking it, what I put in it. So if you want to see those, definitely check those out as well. And that, I think, wraps up Shelftember. So one of the next videos coming will be October, and I have a lot to tell you about October. So stick around for that. I'd love to see you then. If you haven't yet, please give the video a like, and I would love to have you subscribe. I'd love to see you here on the regular, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.